There is a silent force working in the lives of those who rise to greatness. You'll never hear it announce itself, and you'll rarely see it in motion. Yet it shapes destinies, builds empires, and quietly leads ordinary people to extraordinary success. This force isn't luck, chance, or talent. It's a silent habit, a simple, consistent way of living that attracts fortune like a magnet draws steel. Most people spend their lives searching for the big secret, the one grand move that will change everything. But fortune rarely visits those who chase it in noise and confusion. It comes to those who practice this quiet discipline every day, without fanfare, without applause. The silent habit I speak of is the habit of deliberate thought, thinking with purpose, direction, and control. Fortune begins not in our circumstances, but in the quiet chambers of the mind. The way we think, the thoughts we allow to grow, and the discipline we give them. These determine what we attract. There is a silent force working in the lives of those who rise to greatness. You will never hear it announce itself, and you will rarely see it in motion. Yet it shapes destinies, builds empires, and quietly leads ordinary people toward extraordinary success. This force isn't luck, chance, or talent. It's a silent habit, a simple, consistent way of living that attracts fortune like a magnet draws steel. Most people spend their lives searching for the big secret, the one grand move that will change everything, the single opportunity that will turn their life around. But fortune rarely visits those who chase it in noise and confusion. It comes to those who practice this quiet discipline every day, without fanfare, without applause, without seeking attention. The silent habit that attracts fortune is the habit of deliberate thought, thinking with purpose, direction, and control. Everything in your life right now is the result of what you have been silently thinking about day after day. Every success and every setback can be traced to the patterns that dominate your mind. Fortune begins not in our circumstances, not in our connections or luck, but in the quiet chambers of the mind. The way we think, the thoughts we allow to grow, and the discipline we give them, these determine what we attract. The mind is a silent magnet, and it never stops pulling toward us the things that harmonize with our dominant thoughts. Think about success, growth, and abundance, and you begin to move toward them. Think about failure, doubt, and limitation, and you will find yourself surrounded by them. The universe responds to the mental images we hold with persistence and emotion. Those who learn to control their inner world begin to master their outer world. The person who guards his thoughts guards his future, because everything external is born first within. Quiet consistency builds invisible power. Fortune does not appear overnight. It is built through consistent effort and quiet repetition. The silent habit is not about loud declarations or dramatic action. It's about small, intelligent efforts performed daily, often unseen by others. A few minutes of reflection each morning, a moment of gratitude before sleep, a quiet decision to act with integrity. These small acts accumulate power. They create momentum. They build character, and character attracts fortune. Every successful person has built their success on a foundation of small, repeated disciplines carried out in silence. Discipline is the language of the fortunate. Those who attract fortune have trained themselves to act even when they don't feel like it. They have learned the quiet strength of discipline, the ability to do what must be done when it must be done, whether they feel ready or not. This is the difference between the dreamer and the achiever. Most people wait for the right time, the right feeling, the right inspiration. The fortune create their own momentum through discipline. The world eventually rewards those who master themselves first, because self-mastery is the beginning of all achievement. The silent habit turns thought into reality. Every great achievement began as a quiet thought in someone's mind. The person who spends time each day directing their thoughts toward a clear vision will inevitably see that vision take physical form. It cannot be otherwise. The human mind is a creative instrument, capable of transforming imagination into tangible results when guided with belief and persistence. Fortune is not a matter of luck. It's the natural result of focused thought expressed through steady action. Gratitude multiplies what you have. Those who quietly give thanks for what they already possess open the doors to receive more. Gratitude is a powerful mental state. It tunes the mind to abundance rather than lack. The one who sees good in their present circumstances finds opportunity hidden within them. Gratitude transforms ordinary moments into stepping stones toward fortune because it shifts our vibration from wanting to receiving. When you live in a state of appreciation, you attract people, ideas, and circumstances that continue to expand your life. Fortune favors the peaceful mind. In a world filled with noise, chaos, and haste, the person who remains calm, centered, and patient becomes a magnet for opportunity. Calmness is not weakness, it is power under control. The calm thinker can see clearly when others panic. They make wise decisions while others react blindly. Inner peace creates outer order. The one who maintains peace of mind in all conditions becomes the kind of person fortune trusts because they are steady enough to handle it. The silent habit that attracts fortune is not hidden in mystery or complexity. It is the quiet discipline of thought, gratitude, consistency, and calmness. It does not shout, it does not rush, and it does not boast. It simply works, silently, steadily, and unfailingly, until fortune has no choice but to appear. There is a quiet strength within every person that determines how far they will go, how much they will achieve, and what kind of life they will live. It is not found in words, appearances, or possessions, but in a silent discipline practiced when no one is watching. This discipline is the root of all fortune. It is not luck that changes a man's life, but the silent choices he makes each day, what he thinks, what he focuses on, and how he reacts to what happens around him. Most people never realize how much power they already possess because they are too distracted by noise, by comparison, by impatience. Yet fortune never shouts, it whispers, and only those who have trained themselves to listen can hear it. The silent habit that attracts fortune begins with mastery of the mind. The mind is like a field. What we plant will grow. If we plant seeds of doubt, fear, and hesitation, the harvest will reflect it. But if we plant thoughts of purpose, belief, and persistence, the results will be rich and abundant. Every person carries within them the potential to attract opportunity, success, and wealth, but most fail to direct their mental energy with intention. They allow random thoughts to dictate their direction, emotions to cloud their decisions, and circumstances to control their mood. The individual who learns to think deliberately, who can hold one thought long enough for it to take root, discovers that the mind begins to bend reality in his favor. There is great power in quiet consistency. Those who attract fortune are not always the loudest or the most visible. They are the ones who show up each day and do the work, whether anyone notices or not. They keep promises to themselves. They follow through on small commitments. They are patient when others rush. Quiet consistency builds invisible power, and invisible power always becomes visible over time. The world may not applaud steady effort, but fortune does. Every great success story was built upon years of repetition, reflection, and resilience that few ever witnessed. Discipline is what separates desire from destiny. Many want success, but few are willing to train themselves for it. Discipline is the invisible bridge between thought and result. It is the silent force that turns plans into progress. Fortune has always favored those who move with order, who can guide themselves when no one else is watching. The person who can control his impulses, who can remain focused when tempted by distraction, earns the trust of life itself. Discipline makes a man dependable. It transforms him from a dreamer into a doer, from a thinker into a creator. Thought without gratitude is powerless. Gratitude is the quiet amplifier of fortune. It changes the way we see everything. When a person lives in gratitude, they stop chasing and start attracting. Gratitude shifts the mind from scarcity to abundance, from worry to confidence. It reminds us that we already stand on fertile ground. Those who give thanks silently for what they have begin to notice more opportunities, more favor, more doors opening where there were none before. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It is a frequency that aligns us with fortune itself. Fortune also responds to calmness. The calm mind sees clearly, acts wisely, and attracts stability. In moments of chaos, most people lose their center. They rush, react, and regret. The fortunate remain still inside. They understand that calmness is not an action, it is awareness. It is the ability to see beyond the surface and choose the right move instead of the loud one. A peaceful mind can turn obstacles into advantages, while a restless one turns opportunities into mistakes. Those who can maintain serenity in difficult moments have learned the rare skill of directing life rather than being directed by it. Every person must choose what kind of power they want. The loud kind fades quickly, but the silent kind endures. The habit that attracts fortune is quiet but unstoppable. It begins in thought, it grows in discipline, it thrives in gratitude, and it moves in calmness. Those who practice it do not need to announce it. They do not need to prove it. They simply live it, day by day, thought by thought, decision by decision, and the world rearranges itself in their favor. Fortune does not resist such a person because they have become the kind of person fortune was meant to find. There is something profoundly powerful about a person who has learned to live with quiet determination. The world may never see their struggle, may never witness the nights they spent working in silence, or the mornings they rose before the rest. Yet fortune finds them. It finds them because they have built their success on a foundation of silent habits that shape character, sharpen thought, and strengthen resolve. The true secret of attracting fortune is not in grand gestures or sudden breakthroughs, but in the calm, steady persistence of doing what must be done, no matter how small or unseen it seems. The silent habit that attracts fortune begins within the mind. Every thought we think has energy, direction, and consequence. What we dwell upon long enough becomes the pattern of our reality. When a person learns to think deliberately, choosing thoughts that align with growth, progress, and possibility, they begin to attract the conditions that support those thoughts. The difference between those who rise and those who remain is not intelligence or talent, but mental discipline. The fortunate are those who refuse to let fear, doubt, or negative imagination govern their minds. They take charge of their inner dialogue, turning it from complaint to creation. Fortune favors those who work quietly while others wait for signs. The most powerful progress often happens in silence. The seeds of success do not grow in the spotlight, they grow in solitude, in moments of focused effort that seem unimportant to anyone else. Every small act of diligence compounds. Each day of quiet improvement becomes a step toward mastery. The world often mistakes noise for movement, but true progress rarely announces itself. It happens in quiet rooms, in long hours, in patience, and in faith. Those who stay consistent, who refuse to quit when there is no applause, are the ones who attract fortune. Discipline is the unspoken language of the successful. It is not loud, it does not seek attention, but its results cannot be hidden. The disciplined person rises above mood, distraction, and circumstance. They know that consistency is more powerful than motivation. Motivation fades, discipline endures. While others wait to feel inspired, the disciplined individual moves forward, guided by purpose rather than emotion. That quiet obedience to one's vision creates momentum, and momentum draws opportunity closer. Life rewards the person who can command themselves, because mastery of self is mastery of fate. Gratitude is another silent force that draws fortune near. When a person can give thanks not just for what they have, but for what they are becoming, they create an invisible current of abundance around them. Gratitude changes the way we see the world. It turns obstacles into lessons, limitations into opportunities, and setbacks into signals for growth. The grateful mind attracts more to be grateful for. It opens doors that effort alone cannot. Gratitude keeps ambition pure. It prevents the heart from becoming bitter or impatient on the journey to success. Those who quietly practice gratitude each day live in harmony with the very energy that produces fortune. Calmness is the mark of true strength. The calm person is never easily shaken, never ruled by noise or panic. In a world that moves quickly, calmness becomes a form of intelligence. It allows a person to think clearly while others react blindly. It keeps them steady when circumstances change. Calmness attracts fortune because it is the state in which wisdom operates best. When the mind is still, intuition speaks. When the heart is steady, the path becomes visible. The calm person does not chase, they attract. Their energy speaks louder than their words ever could. Fortune is not a reward for luck, but a reflection of order. It belongs to those who have organized their minds, their time, and their actions. It flows naturally toward those who have built habits of thought and behavior that align with success. It avoids those who live in chaos, doubt, and inconsistency. Every thought, every choice, every quiet action adds up to a vibration that either invites or repels fortune. Those who understand this truth no longer waste energy chasing success. They cultivate it from within. The silent habit that attracts fortune is not dramatic, but it is powerful. It asks for no recognition and makes no noise. It is practiced in the stillness of thought, in the calm of focus, in the strength of gratitude, and in the discipline of daily effort. It is the quiet shaping of the self until the self becomes the kind of person fortune cannot resist. There is an invisible rhythm that moves through the lives of all who achieve great things. It is not fast, it is not loud, and it does not demand attention. It is slow, steady, and silent. The habit that attracts fortune operates within this rhythm. It is the quiet decision to think, to act, and to persist with purpose long after the excitement has faded. Most people live reacting to life, letting circumstances dictate their mood and direction. But those who attract fortune live by design. They think before they speak, plan before they act, and move with calm intention. They understand that fortune does not chase noise, it follows order. Every result in life begins with a thought. The mind is the workshop where all progress is built. Whatever we hold in thought long enough must find its way into reality. The person who can control what occupies their mind gains control over what happens in their life. The majority think by accident, their thoughts shaped by fear, gossip, and distraction. But the fortunate think with intention. They know that the quality of thought determines the quality of life. When you learn to think clearly, deliberately, and persistently toward a single purpose, everything you need begins to move toward you. Life is not random, it is responsive. Consistency is the hidden engine behind every form of success. One act of greatness means little compared to a lifetime of small, repeated efforts. The world does not reward those who start strong, but those who continue long after others stop. The habit of quiet consistency builds inner momentum. It forms strength, trust, and reliability, qualities fortune recognizes and rewards. Success is not a single moment of victory, but a chain of invisible repetitions carried out with patience. The person who can stay consistent when the world is distracted gains a power that cannot be taken away. Discipline is the foundation of fortune. It is not glamorous, and it does not seek applause. Discipline is doing what must be done when you would rather do something else. It is the difference between potential and performance. Every person has dreams, but only the disciplined turn dreams into plans and plans into results. Discipline is the quiet contract you make with yourself to keep moving forward, regardless of emotion or difficulty. It turns ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. The one who commands himself no longer needs to be pushed by anyone else. Life begins to work in favor of those who work with themselves. Gratitude is another silent key that unlocks abundance. It is the mental state that transforms lack into sufficiency and sufficiency into overflow. When you live with gratitude, your focus shifts from what is missing to what is growing. You begin to notice opportunities instead of obstacles, progress instead of problems. Gratitude keeps the mind clear and the heart open. It is impossible to attract fortune while resenting what you have. Those who quietly give thanks for what they already possess multiply it, because gratitude is a signal to life that you are ready for more. It draws and supports cooperation and unexpected favor. Calmness is the strength of those who lead themselves. In every situation, there are two responses, panic or peace. The person who stays calm in uncertainty becomes the one others turn to. Calmness gives clarity, and clarity leads to wise action. The calm individual does not react, they respond. They do not rush, they reason. This ability to remain centered under pressure is one of the greatest attractors of fortune. Calmness allows wisdom to operate where emotion might destroy it. It keeps the mind open to solutions that chaos cannot see. A calm mind is a creative mind, and creation is the root of all prosperity. Fortune also flows toward those who live with patience. The impatient chase results and grow frustrated when progress appears slow. The patient understand that all growth takes time. They know that the seeds planted in silence eventually break through the surface if they're cared for. Patience allows you to continue working, improving, and believing even when no visible signs appear. It is not passive. It is powerful endurance. Every successful person has lived through long periods of unseen effort. Fortune arrives to those who have stayed long enough to receive it. The silent habit that attracts fortune is built upon the simple mastery of the self. It is found in clear thought, consistent effort, quiet gratitude, calm control, and patient faith. It does not depend on luck or chance, but on the laws that govern the human mind. The person who learns to direct those laws intentionally begins to attract what others call fortune, but what is, in truth, the natural consequence of inner order. There is a quiet rhythm that runs beneath the surface of every successful life. It is not dramatic or loud, but steady and deliberate. The people who attract fortune have learned to live in harmony with that rhythm. They do not chase wealth, recognition, or approval. They attract them by who they become through their daily habits. There is a difference between the one who tries to get fortune and the one who becomes worthy of it. Fortune is not persuaded by noise or impatience. It responds only to order, consistency, and inner strength. The silent habit that attracts fortune is the art of shaping one's inner world until it naturally reflects in the outer. Everything begins in thought. The world outside is merely a mirror of the world within. Those who understand this take care of their inner dialogue as carefully as a craftsman shapes his tools. They think with precision. They imagine with purpose. They guard against doubt, fear, and negative influence, because they know these are thieves of fortune. The mind attracts what it dwells upon. If a person fills it with confusion, envy, or disbelief, life mirrors those conditions. But if the mind is trained to hold ideas of success, integrity, growth, and contribution, those same forces begin to appear in physical form. The silent work of refining thought is the foundation upon which every form of abundance rests. Fortune also grows from the soil of consistency. Every great outcome is built on the invisible effort repeated daily. Small steps taken with focus achieve more than bursts of enthusiasm that fade in days. The world belongs to those who persist without noise. Quiet consistency is the most reliable sign of mastery. While others are distracted by comparison or discouraged by delay, the consistent person keeps moving. They improve a little each day, and those small improvements compound until they become something extraordinary. Fortune is drawn to motion that never stops, to hands that keep working long after the applause has ended. Discipline gives shape to all effort. Without discipline, intention collapses into wishful thinking. Discipline is not punishment. It is the ability to align your actions with your purpose. It is what keeps you walking when the path feels endless. Discipline demands silence. It does not need validation. It does not depend on feeling ready. It simply acts. Those who live by discipline become dependable to themselves. They develop a quiet confidence that cannot be faked. Life rewards such people because fortune respects order, and discipline is self-imposed order. It is the bridge between desire and manifestation, the force that turns thought into tangible achievement. Gratitude multiplies everything it touches. It turns scarcity into sufficiency and effort into joy. When a person learns to give thanks for what they already have, their energy shifts from wanting to receiving. Gratitude creates a frequency that harmonizes with abundance. It softens resistance, clears bitterness, and opens the mind to possibility. Fortune avoids those who resent their circumstances, but it moves quickly toward those who appreciate even the smallest progress. Gratitude is silent but powerful. It is not performed for others but felt deeply within. It transforms ordinary moments into opportunities, and it turns routine into growth. Calmness is another mark of the fortunate. The calm person does not rush decisions or allow fear to control them. In moments of pressure, they become still enough to think clearly. Calmness is strength disguised as softness. It keeps the mind from clouding judgment and protects it from unnecessary chaos. Fortune moves where peace exists because peace allows focus. A person who can stay calm in uncertainty becomes a magnet for clarity, and clarity attracts solutions that others cannot see. The calm mind does not resist life, it flows with it, adjusting and adapting while remaining firm in purpose. Patience ties all these habits together. It is not idleness, but quiet endurance. The patient individual trusts the process, understanding that time is not the enemy, but the partner of growth. They know that results take time to ripen, just as seeds need seasons to become harvests. The impatient rush abandon their work, or change direction too soon, but the patient stay the course until the reward arrives. Patience, combined with disciplined effort and deliberate thought, creates a magnetic force that fortune cannot ignore. The silent habit that attracts fortune is built on the union of thought, discipline, gratitude, calmness, and patience. It works without noise, without boasting, and without hurry. It transforms the ordinary into the exceptional by shaping the person first and the results later. Those who practice it discover that fortune does not need to be pursued, because it naturally gravitates toward those who have learned to think, act, and live in harmony with its laws. There is a quiet transformation that takes place in every person who decides to rise above the ordinary. It does not happen through sudden bursts of inspiration or through the noise of ambition, but through silent persistence, through the invisible work done when no one is watching. The habit that attracts fortune lives in that silence. It is the discipline of becoming internally strong, clear in purpose, and patient enough to let life unfold in perfect timing. Fortune does not arrive by accident. It is drawn to those who prepare themselves in thought, attitude, and action long before results appear. The foundation of all fortune begins in thought. Every event in life has its origin in the unseen patterns of the mind. The person who learns to master their thinking gains mastery over the conditions of their life. Most people live as if thoughts were harmless, but thoughts are forces. What we consistently think about, we move toward. The individual who fills their mind with doubt, complaint, and fear will experience those things in abundance. The one who fills their mind with ideas of success, service, and abundance begins to attract circumstances that align with that mental image. The silent habit is to think deliberately, to choose thoughts with intention, and to guard the mind against anything unworthy of the life you want to live. Consistency is the quiet builder of fortune. It is not the occasional effort that changes destiny, but the steady rhythm of disciplined days. Every moment of focus, every act of improvement, every choice to persist when it would be easier to stop adds weight to the invisible scale of progress. Fortune does not rush, it accumulates. It gathers around the one who keeps showing up, who works without waiting for motivation, who continues to move forward even when the path feels endless. Consistency is faith in motion, the belief that every small step matters, even when results are not yet visible. Discipline is the silent strength behind all achievement. It is not loud, it does not seek attention, and it requires no audience. Discipline is the quiet agreement between you and your purpose. It is what makes you act when you do not feel like acting. It makes you keep promises to yourself when no one else would notice if you broke them. Discipline transforms potential into progress. It is the difference between wishing and working, between dreaming and doing. Those who attract fortune understand that discipline is freedom, for the one who can control themselves has already mastered the hardest challenge life can give. Gratitude amplifies fortune by aligning the mind with abundance. The person who lives with gratitude stops chasing what is missing and starts seeing what is growing. Gratitude is not about ignoring challenges. It is about recognizing value even in struggle. It keeps the heart open and the mind calm. When you are thankful for what you have, you signal to life that you are ready for more. Gratitude transforms effort into joy and scarcity into expansion. It is the silent magnet that pulls opportunity toward you because it changes your perception from lack to plenty. Calmness is the state from which clarity is born. In a world filled with distractions, noise, and urgency, the ability to stay calm is a rare form of intelligence. The calm person sees what others miss. They do not rush decisions or allow emotion to dictate action. They understand that silence often reveals what noise conceals. Calmness gives space for wisdom to work. When the mind is still, intuition speaks and guidance becomes clear. Fortune moves toward those who maintain peace within because peace creates order and order attracts success. Patience is the unseen companion of all who rise. It is not weakness. It is strength under control. The patient person understands that everything meaningful takes time. They do not abandon their efforts when results are delayed. They know that growth happens in seasons, and every season serves a purpose. Patience allows a person to stay grounded, consistent, and faithful through the unseen stages of progress. It is the quality that separates those who wish from those who achieve. The impatient demand results, the patient build them. The silent habit that attracts fortune is not about seeking attention or chasing outcomes. It is about shaping yourself into someone who naturally attracts good things because of who you have become. It is the mastery of thought, the practice of discipline, the gratitude that multiplies, the calm that stabilizes, and the patience that endures. It is a way of living so deeply rooted in truth and steadiness that fortune has no choice but to find you.